And we are live. I'm not sure if you guys can see me right now, so I'm just gonna check with my VA if everything's fine. Okay. Okay, so I've broadcasted. Rosh, can you check? And we are live. I'm not sure if you guys can see me. Okay, I guess right now, so I'm just gonna check with my VA if everything's fine. Okay. Okay, so this is chat room. Broadcasted, Rosh. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with chat room. And we are live. Not again. I'm not sure if you guys can see. Okay, right now, so I'm just gonna check with my VA. Shut this one down. Sorry, guys. Okay, so okay. Okay, so my VA is saying that we are live right now, but I can't see what's going on in the chat. So Rosh, you're gonna have to type in here as and when there's questions coming in. And I just want to know if who's online right now, who's with me on this live broadcast. So if you guys are already in the webinar, please feel free to write down in the chat box where you're from and just a little bit about yourself. If you're in business, what business are you in? And what would you like to get out of this webinar? Okay. Thanks, Swash. I am. Okay, but no one is in the chat. Can we tell if there's anyone who's streaming live now? So you know there's going to be this whole part that's going to be cut out. There's going to be a repurposed video. Okay. So what you guys have got to do is, if you see a little chat box there, for you to want to post your comments or ask questions and like participate in this webinar, you gotta log in through your Facebook account, so you can participate in that little chat box. Okay. Okay. So I'm not gonna waste any more time, because if anything, this video is gonna be repurposed, and I'm just gonna jump straight into a brief introduction about myself, who I am, what I do, why I'm doing this. And then I'll share with you on the main points that I've learned over the last several months of being a business coach. And then I'm gonna take maybe like 5-10 minutes of your time to talk about a new program that I'm launching in October. Okay, so hope that's all fine and dandy with you guys. So, okay, who am I? So in brief, I'm Pial Kadila. I'm sure many of you have probably found me online because I'm quite active in some groups. I don't really engage as much, but I try my best because I am a small company. So yeah, my name is Pial, and I am a personal and business growth strategist. I help small business owners and women entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, to increase their traffic, increase their conversion rates, as well as increase their engagement with their audiences. Because ultimately, what business growth is increase in sales or revenues, and being profitable. Yeah, the bottom line is basically wanting the business to become profitable. So I love to help business owners and women entrepreneurs to help grow their business. It's just a passion of mine. So I want to jump straight into a bit of my history, my experiences, and my background, so you feel more comfortable with me if this is your first time interacting with me. So I graduated from the University of Bath with a BBA in finance. So the course was like for 4 years. I stayed there in the UK for about 7 years because I continued to stay in the UK right after my graduation. And I launched my first business when I was about 25 years old. So that was, I think, back in 2008, 2009. The first business that I had was in natural skincare. So my first business was launching a natural, handmade, homemade skincare brand that the unique selling proposition was that it was custom made, it was bespoke, it was tailor-made to my customers' needs. And I absolutely loved what I did back then because I had just had a baby and I was into all this natural organic stuff. And I believed that, every single thing that I put into my baby's skin would be consumed by the body. So it got me really, really like, well, let's say, but it got me really like aware of all the things that I use as a skincare to put on my body. And I became really savvy with it. So I started to learn how to create products professionally, and that allowed me to formulate stuff, and it allowed me to create products which were cosmetic industry standards. So I love creating leave-on products, which were like moisturizers, body butters, creams for the face, body lotions, and all of that sort. I did that for like about 5 years. And once I launched my business in the UK, I was doing it online as well as offline. I was participating in a lot of bazaars. And then when I was done, I came back to Malaysia 2 years after that and continued my business while working for the Central Bank of Malaysia. Did it on a part-time basis and realized that my interest and passion had waned at that point. So I kind of like went into retreat for a bit to just understand and, to be in tuned with myself to know exactly what I wanted. I've always wanted to become an entrepreneur and a business owner because my family background, I grew up with both of my parents being serial entrepreneurs, and that played a huge role and a big part of my life. We're just watching them in their jobs and learning a lot as well from them. So I've always had a knack for business. I've always loved giving friends and family life advices based on what I've learned while growing up. I didn't have the most smooth and perfect journey or perfect childhood growing up, so I learned a lot of stuff very fast, and I would say I matured very fast in a very early age. So right after I joined the bank for about 2 more years, it just didn't feel right to me. Working in the bank was I knew I had a lot more to offer. I knew I had a purpose, and I wasn't able to fulfill it by being in that role, in that job. And I decided to go on a sabbatical, and I immersed in a learning journey. Pretty much did myself, studied a lot of books, enrolled myself in a number of programs and trainings, got myself certified as a health coach. And as we speak, I'm trying my best to complete my transformational coaching certification with Gina DeVee. And I've also done many other online courses, learned about digital marketing and this business growth as a whole. And in the last soft launch for my business coaching practice was in February. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So it's been 8 months now. And I've had the privilege to work with many women locally and as well as internationally. on a one-on-one basis. A huge part of that were pro bono coaching for me to gain my skills, and a bulk of it was also paid. And I have several several consultancy clients now that I work with. And so that's how Pial Kadila Coaching and Consultancy was born, because I felt that I could give more value to my clients by actually helping them out, especially my local clients. It's because there's a lot of areas that that they can improve, or they just don't realize that they need to improve. And so and based on the last 8 months experience of the encounters that I've had with entrepreneurs, so that's why I decided to have this webinar, right? Just kind of like dialing it down back to basics for entrepreneurs who are thinking about starting out, entrepreneurs who are already been on a journey, but could possibly be one of that statistic of 98% of the business that closes down within the first 10 years, or 80% that closes in the first 5 years, or maybe 50% in the first 3 years. So the stats are pretty staggering, I'd say, right? And my goal is that I don't want you as an entrepreneur or your business to just be a number, just a statistics, part of that statistics. I want you to be able to grow. I want you to be able to sustain yourself. I want to help you to be able to scale your business to a global level, whatever that means, wherever you are, in the world. So, and in order for me to be able to help these entrepreneurs to even take it to the next level, I guess is the level that they're at, or the level that you're at, as if you're watching, then it's probably an interest to you, that you got to go back to basics and what it is that you need, what kind of attributes, we're talking about characteristics, about like, your mindset, your outlook of life, the way you respond, the way you react towards events, towards things. So that's what I wanted to focus in this webinar. Okay, so stay with me. I'm just gonna check. How was the okay? So okay. My VA just said, I have a question from Syed. How was the authority like, health authority in the UK governing that product? So obviously, in the UK, the market is much more mature than Malaysia. It's not to say more laxed. It's definitely more supportive. That's the word. So when I was there, there were many other natural skincare makers that were doing the same thing, just like me, right? So when you go to their bazaars or their markets and stuff, you've got loads of us, selling our stuff, handmade, and we're small. We're not that big. So they actually have like a structure in place, or professionals that can help get the right type of insurance to protect us as business owners. And they also have a way of how they can help us test our products, because our products comes in small batches. So we don't have mass production. So whenever we have like a formula that we created, we will send the formula over to them plus like a sample of the product. And so they would test for stability on their end, and they would check the formula, and then they will come back with their comments and finally eventually give sort of like a certificate to say that, okay, this product is safe to be put onto the market. You don't have such thing here in Malaysia. And it's tough here because, we are not supported by the government, by the ministry. If you wanted to actually sell it on a legal level, you'd have to get it produced in a GMP factory. And to get it produced in a GMP factory, they require like a huge amount of quantity for you to produce. So that's me. So I guess the other part of why I actually quit the business is because it was the market conditions were not right for my business. But I took too long to quit. I took too long to decide, you know what, I'm out, because I didn't want to play small, right? If I was gonna be in this business, where did I want to take the business? I definitely want to grow it, definitely want to scale it, definitely want to see some sustainability in terms of financials. And it was not gonna take me to where I envisioned what kind of the kind of business that I wanted. But you still have those skincare makers here, right? And to them, it's just like some side income that they're doing, or just like a passion, or just like a hobby. And they want to get some extra income by doing something that they love. And money is really not an issue because they have a full-time job, or they have a rich husband, or they're just rich in general. So, I mean, different people have different purposes, right? But I'm here addressing you guys who are entrepreneurs, who have your own businesses. And I'm sure you want to get somewhere. There's a certain level you want to achieve. There's something you want to, speak for in your business. So I hope I answered your question, Syed. And if you have any more questions on that, like, you can keep it till the end of the session. Let me just quickly finish this bit of the stuff, because it's really important, guys. So in my endeavors with entrepreneurs, I realized that many of the entrepreneurs, I wouldn't say it's an attitude problem. I don't want to call that, because it sounds a bit negative, right? It's more of like not realizing of the level that they're at. Not having like people to compare themselves with. So how do you know whether you are, okay, so, we call ourselves entrepreneurs. How do you know if you're a B class, A class, C class entrepreneur, right? So ask that question. So who are you comparing yourself to? Is there a model, like a role model that you look up to, that you wish to become? And if there is, have you actually studied this person? Have you examined him and how he or she achieved the success? Do you do that? Do you engage yourselves in educating yourself, in learning something new every single day? Are you committed to that? So that's one way of actually expanding yourself in terms of your mindset and your and the attitude, right? So I mentioned earlier, like, this webinar is really attributes that I think is for us to have right at the beginning. Okay? So the reason why I say this, I wanted to focus on this topic, it's the tool that I'm going to share with you. Like, it's an intangible. You can't really measure it. So when you can't really measure it, it's a bit difficult. It's a bit more difficult to know where you're at with it. Okay, so the first attribute is simple but powerful, but I wasn't. So the first attribute is flexibility. Okay, so I thought I was a flexible kind of person, right? Pretty much, I'm like, okay, when somebody says, let's do this or let's do that, or, you have change of plans, or, some besides basically your rules, and then you doing certain thing, and then later, and then even you're just like, okay, fine, I'm easy, I'll go with anything. So that's like two ends of a spectrum. So what is flexibility? Flexibility is being able to adapt, right? So actually, the second attribute is adaptability. Two different things. So the first bit, it's how you're able to adapt to a specific situation. Where, assume this is the line. This is like real, and this is like not flexible at all. So it's like you're really tight here. Somebody says, okay, we have a meeting at 3, and then at 2:30, someone says, I can't make it, and then you're like, you know what, I'm going to have this meeting, and then you completely have this judgment of the person who changed that meeting for you. You come up with a conclusion over this person to think that, he's just unreliable, irresponsible, have any relations with this person, don't want to have any business. So that person was really tight. So now, on the other end of the spectrum, it's, I don't mind, anything goes, right? So that's a problem. So where are you on this scale? That's my point, right? So to some people, when they say, when I try to mention about this attribute, they'd be like, oh, I'm flexible, you know, and I'm pretty flexible. I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that. Don't put me in a box and stuff like that. And they become defensive. And so if you find yourself being defensive in whatever situation, then I guess it's what I would suggest is to, just stop for a moment and think about, how does this hurt me? How does this affect me? How does this affect whatever I'm trying to achieve with this specific situation? So I'm trying to think of an example to share with you, right? So when somebody says that they're flexible, so I thought I was flexible, and I thought I was like maybe this scale, right? So that's tight, that's whatever, anything goes. I thought I was like that. So some people say, I'm really, really flexible. So they think that they're there, but it's you're not there. That's my point. You're not meant to be. It's meant to be like that. And I say that because if it's going to be so easy. People are not going to respect you. People are going to think, I can just easily bully this person because anything goes. And this time, it's like, oh my God, this guy is just, he's just so, or he or she is just so tight, and I don't even have any business dealings with this person, or I just don't want to be, I'll feel his whole vibe because he's just too tight. You have to ask yourself, you have to monitor yourself, you have to evaluate yourself, because then no one else will know. And the best way to do that is whenever you find yourself in a position where you're actually being defensive over some stuff. So the next question to ask is, why am I being defensive over this thing? Maybe because it's true, and that's why I'm being defensive. And so that kind of makes you adjust quickly, if you get what I mean. So, and the reason why we just have to be this nice, because in business and becoming an entrepreneur, you have to be that. I can't stress on the importance of being that. Because if you're not, and okay, I have had some business dealings with some business owners, right? Where they say, you know what, if you work with me, this is my price, this is my time, this is what's included in this specific thing, whatever. So you've listed out all the terms and conditions in the contract or verbally or whatever. And, things happen, life happens, events changes, economic conditions changes, all sorts of stuff. And it just, so matter of fact that at that point, it requires minor changes or tweaks to whatever that's been agreed upon. And if you were like that, you'd be like, you know what, no, this has to be this. It can't be anything else. And you risk to lose your customer for good, forever. You feel me, right? And you don't want to be, especially when you're growing, especially when you're starting out. You don't want to cancel people out, because you never know who they are, what they can possibly help you with. So what I would highly recommend is for you to really open your mind up and think and try to be flexible in the sense okay, if I'm gonna lax a bit on this specific areas, how is that gonna affect my business? Would losing this person as a customer outweigh whatever she or he is asking? That's one. Now the next example is, if you're okay with everything, then people are just not going to take you seriously. As an entrepreneur, do you see at the beginning of your journey? Heck yeah, of course. But how do you do that? How do you command that? Have that kind of balance? So if you have any questions on this, specific questions on how you've actually encountered this in your, shoot me a question so I can explain to you, how to deal with it. So the point is that I'm quite good at that, teaching you how to deal with stuff. And it's something that it's not something that I discovered over time, obviously after. And that's what I wanted to share. And if I can help you in any way at all, to feedback, or not to say to advise, but to kind of like give a structure or more examples of how you can actually apply it in your business and your entrepreneurial journey, I'm happy to do so. But you gotta shoot me some specific questions so I can answer them, okay? So that was my first topic. This may just not be a 60 minutes webinar. I'm gonna keep it short and simple because I don't want to be like so stressed out by the timing either. So the second bit, guys, it's adaptability. Okay, so we said flexibility is how you're able to adapt certain situations, right? So now, what is adaptability about? It's about being open-minded. Okay, so this is such an important attribute, guys. Okay, so in Malaysia specifically, there are so many people who sells halal-based products, whatever, halal or what's a word for it? Islamic or Muslimah or Muslimin wear, that kind of stuff, right? And what I find is that in your journey as an entrepreneur, there will always come opportunities. There will always come ideas. There will always come times where you are able to get, strategic alliances or power partnerships, joint ventures and stuff. So you have to govern yourselves as a business owner. And what are the values that a business owner should have? I don't want to list down what the things are. That's up to you. But I'm just saying, keep an open mind. So if you're selling something that is following the halal guideline or the Muslim like that, okay, what I'm trying to say is that I feel entrepreneurs who can do so much more than just like that on Instagram or on Facebook, on social media, able to expand yourself. So some of you who may be watching it may not be in that line, but think about how you've been open-minded enough. Becoming enough to have this mindset. Okay, what is being open-minded about as well, right? It's about having the value of wanting to give as much as you can, and not really expecting to receive, because karma is powerful. Whatever that goes around comes around. Your time will come, but you have to start from you and from within, who you are, what your intentions are, right? So I would say, when you're be able to be adaptable in business, you're going to be adaptable with everyone. And the reason why I say this is so important, because your business thrives on human relationships, on human emotions, right? Because humans are going to be your customers. Of any non-humans, and there's the dogs, but even pets and stuff, but still, humans are the ones who are going to pay for them. So you need to be adaptable, because the people that you're going to be dealing with, who are your customers, who are humans, are going to be buying stuff from you, are going to be supporting you based on emotions and experience of. So take this down. A business is really not about the products. It's really not about the service. It's about the experience. What they feel when they buy something from you. What kind of happy that you've somehow been able to fulfill some form of human need. So the 6th form of human need that Tony talks about. I don't remember all of them from the top of my mind, but I know the first is certainty. The second is variation. Third is love, connection. The fourth is significance. Fifth is growth, and 6th is contribution. So whatever business you're in, products or services that you're offering, if you're somehow giving the 6, either 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 of these things, then you'll be able to have customers really happy with you, whatever you're selling. And on bag, right? What do they really feel? It's not really significant. Significance plus certainty that, you know, I can depend that this product, this brand is something that I can bring certain standards and quality, and significance that when I buy it, I feel like $1 million. When I'm walking with it, no one knows whether it's like even real or not real, right? But if you're carrying it, you are going to dollars while carrying this bag, but no one's going to see that really. This is you. Whenever you buy a new pair of clothes or whatever it is, you buy those clothes every single time because you need it. And so whatever business or services that you're in, so what kind of feelings or experience is your customers going through? So you have to be quick to adapt. You have to be flexible and changing stuff around. And the last attribute, the third and final attribute, guys. So I hope I've explained flexibility and adaptability pretty well. And the last one is really sales skills. So this is a huge topic on its own, right? So sales skill is just like one thing, but within sales itself, there's like a whole other bunch of sub stuff. And that's what I do with my consultancy clients. I literally like structure sales training programs which are specific to their needs and specific to their company, the nature of their company, what industry they're in. So I have a client who is who sells input farming, and their people are agents. Sorry, their people are farmers who are agents, right? So the way I train farmers in terms of sales training and how I would train a team of people who are selling software would be completely different, right? And so it's different skills that they would need altogether because of the background and who they are, what kind of angle that they're coming from, what kind of angle we're coming from, and so it's different. So, but sales skills is so important. Why? I actually, for example, like most recently, I've just done a sales training for one of my clients, and I've just broken it down to the art of communication, art of negotiation, building rapport, part 1, part 2, strength-based selling, power of sales skills, and the other one is the psychology of sales. So there's a bunch of stuff just in sales alone, right? I won't have time if in that bit for your team, whatever. You can obviously call me whatever. But what I want to talk about is how good is your sales skills? Sales skills, tongue twister, guys. So how good is your sales skills from a 1 to 10, right? So how do you rate yourself? So meaning if you're gonna rate yourself, have a pretty high conversion rate. So whenever you speak about something, whenever you're selling something, 2 out of 3 people you sell, you close 2. If you're gonna go 5 and below, so obviously 10% and below in terms of your conversion skills. So that's how you would know. So, but how do you know whether you're doing it right? Are you measuring your sales skills? Like, for example, you have a successful sales transaction. Do you actually go back and say, I'm so happy I made it. What did I do right? Or how could I have improved myself better, and write that down? Do you do that? Don't. That's a way of measuring yourself, and that's definitely a way for you to do it. Okay. Okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna check what my what Rosh is saying. Rosh is my VA. If you don't know what VA assistant, so she's saying that. Okay, so it's live. Eka. Okay. Hey, Eka Oked. Are you Malay? It's a very unique name. Okay. Oh no, where is it? There you go. What was I talking about? Yeah, sales. So when do you sell and when do you not sell? I wish you guys were like here right in front of me. I hate like talking one way. I love interacting with people and engaging with people. That's what I do best. So what did I say? Sorry. So basically, sales is something that you constantly doing all the time, guys. So if you're an entrepreneur who's just starting out, or if you've been in business, you are gonna be wanting to talk about your business. But what is it about your business that you want to talk about all the time? Are you gonna be selling all the time to the same person? No. That's where you have to understand where relationship marketing is. That's coming from. So I think it's Seth Godin that talks about relationship marketing, where he that today's business, you have to be able to build relationships by adding value to your potential and audience, by giving them information that they would be able to take home and take action immediately, whatever that may be. A tip, or how to do, a cheat sheet, whatever that may be, right? So you gotta help make their lives better. And so done that for some time, and the time for you to want to market to them, to want to talk about what you have to sell. Like, does it sound right for you? I think that sounds right. I mean, like, if you're my friend and we've been friends for some and you don't really feel good, but if you've been giving value, lots of value, and then one day you say, what I do, or something that there's a proposition that you want to chat to me about, all means I'd be happy, because you've been adding value to my okay, we got a question here, guys. Let's see what it is. I am in the process of getting the Ministry of Malaysia to approve your health product. Welcome, Syed. Well, you are. I assume if you're getting the a Ministry of Health, whatever you're selling must be big, then it shouldn't be really a problem. You just have to follow through and hang in there, I'd say. But it's more of what I'm more concerned with is, how are you selling the stuff? Are you selling it enough? Are you making the revenues that you want to? Are you making the turnover that you'd like your business to do so? That's a part that I'm more concerned with. Okay. Eka, I would like to know what you think about online marketing for existing businesses. That's a very general question, Eka. Thank you for it, but I need you to be more specific. What exactly would you like to know about online marketing? And for existing businesses, because it's different businesses. Be more specific with your question. That would really help me to be able to give you a better answer, if that makes sense. Okay. Because it's different, not all companies should be online. Because it depends on where your audiences are hanging out. If a bunch of them are hanging out online, then yeah, it makes sense for you to go online. But for example, like, there's one company that I work with, which is Input Farming Products. Their audience, their clients, their prospects are farmers, right? And not all farmers hangs out online. Some of them, yeah, they're in social media, but not all of them are. So if you're gonna want to focus your stuff onto online marketing, then it's gonna be an uphill journey. It's gonna be long, because how are you gonna reach out to your farmers? It's a completely different strategy, different tactic, different technique altogether. So I need to know what business you're in, right? Then I can share with you my 2 cents worth of thoughts on that. Okay, so now what were we talking about? Okay, sales skills. So once you have these 2 attributes, which is flexibility and adaptability, sales skills will come in so much when you're doing it with just anyone, right? Because you're constantly selling when you're in a networking event, when you're just meeting up with social friends. Your mind is always thinking. I mean, that at least that's how I think. And I just don't think making a sale on the point of view that I'm making a sale for my business, I'm always trying to think about how I can be helpful to this person, how business or life or whatever it is, right? And somebody says this and this and this, and it doesn't have anything to do with me. But do I just stop there and it's like, oh, with me, okay, bye, thanks, nice to meet you, right? No. Take time to get to know the person. I would, because like we talk about using sales and revenue and becoming more profitable small. If you don't have a big team, you're most times bootstrapping, or if you're lucky enough, you probably get a grant or whatever. But I'm not a big advocate of businesses get grant, feels that they can't expend the money, because into the point of it's not about the resources, it's about being resourceful. And being resourceful requires these three things. How smart? Okay, first, flexibility and adaptability, right? Sales cause a lot of smarts as well. How fast can we respond to a consumer? Because do you like to be sold to? Do you like people to come? I mean, do you receive calls, right? I want to set an appointment with you, and you don't have a relationship with them. Do you actually like to be sold to? Even cold calls. Have you ever been cold called before? I have been cold called 100,000 times, and I hate it. And I'm just like, oh my God, can you just leave me alone? So I'm thinking, and I'm also getting feedback from a lot of other people, especially the more savvy consumers, that they feel the same way too. They don't like to be sold to. So how are you in your technique and in your strategy selling but not selling? Meaning you're not being salesy, you're not being desperate, you're not being reckless, right? So you're doing it in a very sophisticated way, in a very subtle but in a sophisticated way. I think that's important. So it would make you feel better if you did it in a way that didn't seem like encroaching in this person's face. So what else do I want to talk about sales skills? And they forget about the human connection. And this is what you got to do in today's age. And the way how businesses are going to be in the future. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share a secret with you. Well, it's not really a secret. I'm just going to spit out what Jack Ma said, pretty much, right? The next currency of businesses doing businesses is trust. So you've heard of the phrase, if you got the money, yes, let's go for it. If you don't got the money, deals off. So I guess the Malay version of it is, ada duit boleh cakap, tak ada duit tak boleh cakap. So, and that's true, right? That has been true for a very long time. So if you've got money, then we can talk. If you don't have money, then we're not going to talk. But here's the thing: what the future business is going to be. If you don't have the trust, we're not going to talk, even though you have the money. You see? So it's like, even though I have the money, or even though you have the money, and I want your sale or you want my sale, but if I cannot trust you, then I'm not going to do business with you. Does that make sense? So what are you doing, or what are you incorporating in your sales skills to actually build relationships, build trust, right? So I was just talking about this to my sales participant yesterday, where I was talking about the 4 main things that you need to build in having sales skills. And it's simple. It's what I call the KLT plus G factor. Now, what are they? So if you have a pen and paper, write it down. KLT plus G. KLT, know, like, trust. So your peeps, Your peeps, meaning your audience, your customers, your prospects, right? They need to know you. They need to like you, and they need to trust you. So point is, how are you going to be able to get these three things, right? And we all know, I don't know whether we all know, but a stat that I got of Tony as well is that in terms of marketing, the touch points of when you're touching your customers, it used to be 4 touch points before a person converts to become a buying customer. Today, it's 16. 16. How do you 16? I don't know. 10 and 6. So 16 touch points. That means a person has to be in contact with your business of up to 16 times before they decide to buy anything from you. Okay, so that could mean a banner, a flyer, an interview on TV, a newspaper write-up, an editorial, whatever, right? 16 touch points. You know how much? It's so much more costly now, but it's so much easier. So you've got like that catch-22 thing, but it's good because it's much easier. So you have social media, you have all sorts of different platforms. I mean, if I've seen your brand on Instagram once, I've seen your Instagram on, if I've seen your business on Twitter, on Pinterest, and that's like 4 touch points to me, right? So it's so much easier now, but it is costly because it's 16 times. So are you doing enough? So most times, because we're a solopreneur or you're in a small team, you won't be able to touch so many people so fast. So how can you do it in a big scale, right? So now that's a whole different ballgame. Like you need to have a sales funnel. You need to create a whole strategy to it. You need to be able to attract people with the right headlines. You need to be able to write good copies and so on and so forth, right? And okay, so I think I kind of ran my time out on talking about what are the 3 attributes that you need to have or you must have as an entrepreneur. So really work on the skills, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Really work on the skills, right? Knowing on a scale of 0 to 10, where are you on the flexibility scale? I'd say 5, right? That's just nice. It's like a balance that you're not too flexible, that all people are just like walking all over you, trampling all over you, and you're not just like tight as in, okay, that's not the right word. You're just tight, lah. Okay, you're just tight, and that people are just like forget about doing business with you. Even like you can't be so flexible in whatever terms that is, monetary, value adding, commitment, or whatever it is, right? So be aware of that. And on the adaptability scale, where are you here as well, right? I'd say on the adaptability scale, you want to be 10. See the difference? You want to be 10 on the adaptability scale. And if you're somewhere here, you want to work on being here. And that's when you need critical thinking, okay? So what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is really going through the process of, if I did this, what's going to happen next? And if this happens next, how am I going to react to it? Or how am I going to act upon it? Or what's my plan B? What's my plan C? What's my plan D? And after that, what's going to happen after that, right? After that and after that, will it eventually take me to my goal, my ultimate dream, my ultimate vision, whatever that is for you? So critical thinking is really, thinking through the process right till the end. Yeah, so lots and lots of critical thinking in order for you to reach here. I'm not even here. I'm way not here. But what I'm doing to make sure that I'm able to get as close as I can to here is to learn, to continue my education, to work with a coach, to work with a mentor who's done it, who knows this stuff, who has something that they can part upon to us, so it will increase our learning skills or our learning journey like that, and not like that. And a lot of entrepreneurs they do that. And I was guilty of that as well for the first 5 years of me being in business. That. Why? You don't need that. You need this now. You don't have time. I mean, you guys had family and stuff. You're going to spend all your time in learning and you want to make it fast just on your own. Trust me, that means no life. So if you're a person like me who enjoys life for what it is and what it has to offer, someone who has kids, someone who loves traveling, someone who just like loves to experience the world. That's how it is. I want to have time for myself, but I want to increase my learning progression like that. And so you should too. So 3 things, right? And finding sales skills, all the stuff that I've said. Focus on this thing, the KLT plus G factor. Oh, I didn't explain what G was. I'm sorry. Let me check. Did you guys ask? Okay, know what? You guys missed that. Okay. So G stands for goodwill. And what does that mean? So goodwill pretty much means that you're not going to rip people off, or they can trust you enough to know that you are charging accordingly. That, let me see an example. So if I know that you're company A and you can provide me with whatever solutions that I'm looking for my problems, but there's going to be like 10, 20 other companies that's going to be doing the same thing just like you, right? So once I've built that KLT factor with you, I also know as a goodwill that you will always be adding value to me. You will always be giving more or trying to give as much more value. That's 1. And 2, that you're not squeezing me out of your prices. You're not charging me the best. If I knew that you were this kind of entrepreneur, and then, you know, there's some entrepreneurs out there who look at the people that they're selling to. If this person looks like they're richer, then I'm going to charge a higher price. If this person looks like they're any, then I'm going to charge a less price, as a lesser price, I guess. Yeah, sorry guys. So then, I mean, like if it's a company, if you're selling to a big company, you're selling to a small company, I understand. I get it. I get, like, bigger companies can afford bigger budgets and smaller companies don't have as bigger budgets as bigger companies. But if you're working on an individual basis and you're building that kind of way, they need to know that you're giving value, and be rest assured that a lot of the people that you're going to be selling to are educated. Why? Because information is abundant now. They can just Google anything for about anything and everything. So if you're gonna be selling like whatever health product, and you're gonna say, this is 150 per bottle for 30 pills, I can just go Google it and find, like, whatever you're selling health product wise, stem cell, vitamins, multivites, this and that, blah blah blah. Find out from other manufacturers, see how much they're selling, looking at their ingredients, and knowing how much they're giving it out for, like how many pills in a bottle and how much it costs. And so that's why a lot of times I don't buy from MLM companies, because I feel that, the prices are inflated to kind of support the agents and things like that. But if I need to, because the product's really good, then I would. But the point is goodwill. That's what goodwill means. So you need to know, you need to price yourself comparatively to the market. And if you're going to price yourself above, you need to know what added value or what allows you to want to charge your market at that price. Is there something different about you, about your product, about your service? Is there something different in the way you deliver it? Is there something different? So you need to know what exactly your USP is, which is a unique selling point, right? So you need to know what that is. So that's KLT plus G. Okay, I haven't gotten a more specific question from you, Eka, but I got another question from Syed. What do you think about the importance of blog in online marketing and sales? Okay, so this really, again, depends on what kind of business you're in, right? If you were selling quality management software for ISO certified companies, the frequency of your blog posts wouldn't really matter as much, right? You probably want to put some information out there as and when needed, but you probably wouldn't want to blog every single time or every single day, right? But since you asked, and I know that you're kind of like in the health business, Syed, I think, because that's what you asked, right? So I assume that you're selling some sort of health product. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you're selling a health product, I would say blogging could be quite important in your marketing and sales. Well, not sales, but in your marketing strategies, blogging will be a good way, because what would you want to be sharing in your blog? What is the objective of the blog? Or the blog post, every single blog post. You have to know, you have to begin with the end in mind, right? So for every blog post that you put out there, what is the purpose of it? Okay, so I'm going to give you a simple example. If you're selling a vitamin, a bottle of vitamin, let's say, right? And obviously you're going to talk about the benefits of the vitamins. And so the vitamins has this and that and this and that. And you want to talk about, and you want to put in testimonials, right? From people who've tried it, and this is what they've said, and this is what you've discovered in your, even in your research, how many people have been using it. So this is the latest things that you found in the news, or whatever you want to blog about that specific product, right? But that post has to have a purpose, in the sense, what is the call to action? What is next? So when you have a post, that post has to be driven somewhere. I mean, you're driving the readers to some place, right? So once I've read the article, I'll say, okay, I'm more educated now. So what? Then what? What's next, right? So it's your job to want to drive me to somewhere that would eventually lead to a conversion, to a sale. So that's like that's a way of a funnel, right? And again, the same information that you put out on your blog, you can always repurpose the information for other things, right? Like your newsletter, because not everyone's going to be reading your blog, may not be reading it in your newsletters. People are reading your, so what am I saying? People are reading your newsletters, may not be reading your blogs, right? So people who are reading your blogs may not necessarily be on your customer database, in your list. They just like somebody randomly searching for something, and then they just hit your website, or somebody just said something about your website, and then they just come and then they read the blog. You definitely want to capture their names. You want to capture their information and get them into your database, right? And then what's next? Call to action. You obviously want to drive sales. So how are you doing it? And then you gotta want to be able to test it out, to test the efforts that you're doing. You want to be measuring the efforts. Okay. Anyways, I hope that answered your question, Syed. I'm gonna go over time now. If I don't start talking about what the upcoming program that I have, I would love to answer more questions. I'll be having a series of webinar every Friday, I think, right, Rosh? Well, I'll be having 3 more webinars right before the launch. And so I would like to take 5 minutes of your time to talk about this launch that I have. So I'm actually launching a group coaching program on the 5th of October when we go live. And it's gonna be a 6 weeks coaching program. And in this coaching program, it's all to do about how to grow your business, right? So it's called Grow You and Grow Your Business. So it's so important to grow you as a person, to understand the characteristics that you need to have, the attributes, the kind of attitude, the kind of things that you need to own as a founder, as an entrepreneur, like things that you just need to own yourself already at this stage. If you want to compete globally, if you're looking at scaling, if you're looking at expanding, you have to look at this. You have to look at growing you first, because otherwise, you're going to explode. Number one, because I don't know whether you believe in law of attraction and like the whole how the universe and God works. It's basically like they're saying, if you're not able to, assume that we are all containers, right? And so this is how big my container is right now, and with this container, I'm able to receive $3,000 every single month. Let's put it that way, in the simplest form. And in order for me to receive 5,000 or play at a frequency of 5,000, I have to expand the container, or I have to expand myself in order for me to be able to receive. Because it's, even if you receive, so you have the container of 3,000, you're playing at a frequency of 3,000, and then something happens, a sale goes through, and then you get more. And all of a sudden you feel like, oh no, the money's gone by the end of the month or in 2 months' time, because somehow it just got spent, or you get a breakdown, or you get a car accident that you just have to spend the money, right? And it's like a thermostat where you have to reset yourself at that level that you're playing at. And so you need to learn how to expand this container. If you're not willing to expand this container, you're always going to be playing in that amount of money, and you're not going to be able to receive more. So the point is that if you're asking for more, are you ready to receive? And so that's the part that we're going to be focusing on, about growing you in the modules. And the next part, once I've equipped you with the tools and the skills of how you're able to grow yourself, and you're gonna be having modules and stuff that you have to go back and do. Make sure you do them, guys, right? So, and then you'll be with me live every single week, just like how we are right now, except that it will probably be in an audio format where you can actually ask your questions live. So like right now you have to type it out, and then I have to read and I have to answer them. Like for the live coaching calls, we're gonna be on a call, and you're going to be able to ask your question live, where everyone's going to be able to listen to it, and then I'm going to be able to answer you then. So that's about an hour and a half. So instead of doing private coaching with me, you're going to be able to tap into my brains at that point. So be prepared to ask as many questions as you want to, and with obviously, like, questions that can actually change your business and change your life and change whatever you need to get changed to get results. And then next we're going to be focusing, and then next what we're going to be focusing on is, that's my boy. The next part that we're going to be focusing on is, what are the skills, what are the techniques, and what are the strategies that you can use to grow your business? Okay, so it really depends. Okay, so I'm using the thing. Can I talk to you later? Give me 10 minutes. And then, so we're talking about strategies, right? So we're going to have strategies that are going to be customized to your business. So whatever business you're in. I don't know what businesses you're in, but I assume, for example, that's health. Somebody's on digital marketing, selling some stuff online. So whatever industry that you're in, you will definitely have to use different types of strategies in order to grow your business. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we're going to be focusing on that. You're going to be exposed to like a number of strategies that you can actually use, but which ones to use? That's the next question. And that's what you want to find out during the group coaching program. Okay, so basically that's the program. It's a 6 weeks program. You get, an hour and a half live session with me every single week. You get modules for you to work on, and you work on yourself, and then you work on the business. So it's a step-by-step thing, and it's a really great opportunity to be able to work with me. If you are a bit tight to want to work with me, on a personal basis. So the price for it at the moment is it's $247 US. So the price of the program is actually $497. So for the early bird introductory fees, it's only $247 US. And right after this webinar, Rosh is going to send you a link to the sales page, where you can just click on it and then go through the sales page if you want to. If you don't want to, go straight to the Pay Now button, I think it's called, and it'll take you to the PayPal link, where you can actually complete your payment there. So I really am looking forward to, and I'm hoping for you guys to be able to join me in this 6 weeks live coaching program, because it's the only one that I'm going to be doing till the end of the year. That's it. I'm not going to be doing anymore. The next one will probably be next year. So if you guys are ready and you are committed to having some results and change and growth in your business, now's the time. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yep, true. Okay, so that's about it really, guys. So I hope that I've been able to give you as much value, and you've learned something out of this webinar, and you're able to go home and take action and be able to measure yourself and come back and tell me and share with me your results or any changes that you've had or gone through just by listening to this webinar. It's really important that you share your successes, so that when you do share your successes, it becomes like what's that word? I keep forgetting the word. It becomes like an exponential momentum for you and yourself and your business. So you share one success, and then the next success comes, and then the next success comes. So it's just like a train, of one after the other. I mean, have you watched this movie called The Series of Unfortunate Events? So if you're like at that level where, you're complaining about stuff, things are not going well for you, then the next thing happens again, and then you're just like, why is like life doing this to me? Why me? Why me, God? Like, seriously. I had a friend who just had like a series of misfortunate or unfortunate events that she went through. Her tire got her tire punctured, and then like, I don't know, she lost a car park ticket, and then I don't know what else happened to her. It was horrible. And I was like, babe, you got to change your state from now onwards. Well, it's, focusing on the positives is not enough. It's not going to cut it, but you literally have to change your state, and you have to be adaptable. You have to be flexible. This happens. Okay, what next? How am I going to deal with it? If I'm going to like whine about this thing, is it going to change anything? Not really. So what can I do best? What should I do next? So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So thank you so much for your time. I know all of your time is precious, so I'm not going to hold you back any longer. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar. I hope to see you guys soon again, hopefully next week. Okay, bye now. Any more questions, Josh? Nope, that's it. Okay, thank you so much, Josh, for facilitating the whole session. Bye.